Have you ever noticed something about yourself when it comes to plans? You make plans for dinner with friends or a birthday party days in advance. It sounds like a great idea at the time. You might even feel excited when you say yes to a networking event or a casual meetup. Then the day of the plans arrives. Suddenly your enthusiasm is gone. You look at your phone, you look at the clock, you think about putting on clothes, leaving the house, talking to people, smiling, and making conversation. Somehow your couch starts looking really attractive. Your blanket feels like it is giving you support. The idea of staying home feels like a choice and more like something you have to do. Then comes the surprising part. When the plans are canceled, you feel relief, not disappointment, relief. You feel like you can breathe again. Your shoulders, your mood instantly improves. That is when many people start wondering what is wrong with them. Society often thinks that people who love canceling plans are lazy, antisocial, rude, or unmotivated. The idea is that if you really cared, you would want to go to the plans. Psychology says something different, because in cases people who secretly love canceled plans are not avoiding life. They are responding to how their minds and nervous systems process the world. Let me show you what I mean. Imagine you are planning a vacation 6 months from now. It sounds exciting. You imagine beaches, adventures, restaurants, and perfect memories. Now imagine it is the morning of the trip. Suddenly you are thinking about airport lines, delayed flights, packing mistakes, crowded terminals, and all the tiny inconveniences that were not present when you first agreed to go. What changed the trip or your psychological distance from the trip? Psychologists have long studied something called construal level theory. In terms, our brains think differently about things that are far away versus things that are close. When an event is in the future, we focus on the picture. When it becomes immediate, we start noticing the details. Details require energy. The same thing happens with plans. When your friend invites you next Saturday, your brain imagines laughter, connection, and fun. When Saturday arrives, your brain suddenly starts calculating transportation, social expectations, small talk, noise levels, time commitment, and emotional effort. The closer the event gets, the real its costs become. This alone explains a lot of plan canceling behavior. It gets deeper. Many people who love canceled plans are not necessarily avoiding the event itself, they are protecting their energy. Modern life quietly drains attention. Think about your brain like a smartphone battery. Every notification, conversation, decision, deadline, problem, and responsibility takes a percentage. By the end of the day, some people still have a lot of battery remaining. Others feel like they are operating on battery while desperately searching for a charger. If you are introverted, highly sensitive, emotionally aware, or someone who spends much of the day adapting to other people's needs, your battery may drain faster than you realize. This does not mean you are weak. It means your brain processes stimulation differently. Researchers studying introversion have found that social interaction can be rewarding while simultaneously being mentally exhausting. You can genuinely enjoy a party, still need time to recover afterward. You can love your friends, still feel relieved when a social event gets canceled. The enjoyment and the exhaustion can coexist. Human psychology is weird like that. One of the misunderstandings about people who cancel plans is the belief that they dislike people. Often the opposite is true. Many care deeply about relationships. In fact, they care much that social interactions require emotional investment. They listen carefully, they empathize, they pay attention, they absorb information. All of that processing takes energy. Imagine two computers running software. One quickly opens a document, the other runs complex programs in the background. Both computers may appear similar from the outside. Internally, they are doing different amounts of work. Many thoughtful people operate like that second computer. What looks effortless from the outside often involves mental processing beneath the surface. There is another reason people secretly love canceled plans: control. Think about how many hours of your day belong to you. Not work hours, not obligation hours, not commuting hours, not family responsibility hours. Truly yours. For adults, that number is surprisingly small. Free time becomes psychologically valuable, almost sacred. When plans occupy your schedule, enjoyable plans, part of your freedom becomes reserved. Your future self now belongs somewhere. You must be available. You must show up. You must allocate energy. The commitment itself occupies space, then something unexpected happens when plans get canceled. Time returns, the future reopens, possibilities reappear. Your brain experiences a subtle sense of regained autonomy. Psychologists have consistently found that autonomy is one of the drivers of well-being. Humans like feeling that they are choosing their actions. When a canceled plan suddenly restores a block of freedom, the emotional response can feel surprisingly powerful. It is not always about avoiding the event. It is often about reclaiming ownership over time. This is especially true for people who constantly feel scheduled, managed, monitored, or overwhelmed. Sometimes a canceled plan does not feel like losing an opportunity. It feels like getting a piece of yourself. Then there is the fantasy problem. You know what I am talking about. The imaginary version of an event is often better than the version. Before the gathering, your brain creates a highlight reel. Everyone is funny, nobody's awkward, the weather is perfect, the conversation flows naturally, the food is amazing. Reality tends to be more complicated. Human beings are remarkably talented at imagining experiences. When reality approaches, uncertainty arrives. Uncertainty creates tension. Some people unconsciously discover that the anticipation of an event is more enjoyable than the event itself. Not because the event is bad, because imagination has no flaws. Reality always does. This does not mean something is wrong with you. It means you are human. In fact, many plan-canceling enthusiasts share another trait. They enjoy solitude, not loneliness. Solitude feels like something is present, not something is missing. There is a difference. For personalities, being alone is not an absence of stimulation. It is a source of recovery. It is where thoughts settle. It is where emotions become clearer. It is where creativity returns. It is where the nervous system finally stops performing and starts resting. For these individuals, a free evening at home is not a plan, it is a reward. That is why the cancellation text can sometimes trigger genuine happiness. Not because they hate the people involved, but because they unexpectedly received access to one of their environments, their own company. Of course, there is a shadow side to all of this. Sometimes canceling plans becomes avoidance. Sometimes anxiety disguises itself as comfort. The relief you feel today can create isolation tomorrow. This is where self-awareness becomes important. A useful question is not, do you like canceled plans? Why do you like canceled plans? Are you protecting your energy, creating recovery time, honoring your need for solitude? Or are you avoiding uncertainty, discomfort, rejection, or vulnerability? The answer matters. Because one path leads towards self-care, the other can slowly lead toward disconnection. The difference often comes down to intention. People who understand themselves well learn how to distinguish restoration from avoidance. They know when they genuinely need rest. They know when growth requires showing up anyway. That is a skill, and like any skill, it improves with practice. Perhaps the important thing to understand is that loving canceled plans does not automatically make you antisocial. It does not mean you are broken. It does not mean you are lazy. It certainly does not mean you are a bad friend. Sometimes it simply means you are aware of something many people overlook. Your energy is limited. Your attention is valuable. Your inner world matters. The real goal is not forcing yourself to become the outgoing person in the room, nor is it hiding from every invitation. The goal is understanding how your mind works. Because once you understand your patterns, you stop fighting them, you start working with them. That changes everything. Maybe the relief you feel when plans disappear is not a sign that you hate people. Maybe it is a clue about how you recharge, a clue about what your system needs, a clue about the environments where you feel most like yourself. Perhaps that is the hidden psychology behind people who love canceling plans. They are not always running away from others. Sometimes they are running towards something important, themselves. So now I am curious. When plans get canceled all of a sudden, how do you feel about it? Do you feel disappointed when plans get canceled, or do you feel relieved when plans get canceled? Maybe you feel excited when plans get canceled, or maybe you feel guilty when plans get canceled. Maybe you feel a strange combination of all these feelings when plans get canceled, like disappointed and relieved and excited and guilty all at the same time. Let us know what you think about plans getting canceled in the comments. If you like to think about the mind and why people do things, then you should subscribe and join us for our next trip into the human mind. Until time, keep being curious about the human mind and plans getting canceled.